Let's try this again. See if it's so hot that the GoPros, of course, keep overheating, shutting down, all that good stuff. I'm not trying to crap on them. That's just the reality of the situation. It's Southern California. It's April. It's about 95 degrees out. It's been glass calm most of the day. Got a little breeze here and there. General sense, it's hot as heck out. Water temp, though, surprisingly, isn't even 70 degrees, even though we've been having some hot days for quite some time. All right, that's bringing us up to speed, but I get a lot of questions about something that I call the double rig. I don't have a fancy name for it or anything. It's exactly how it sounds. It's 2 baits, 1 line, rigged on some swivels. It's a little bit of a clown show from time to time. Kind of feel weird throwing it, but it does its job. It serves its purpose. I believe that it helps those weary fish sometimes commit to the baits when they otherwise wouldn't. It's by no means my creation. I'm sure guys have been fishing something similar for years. First place I saw someone actually articulate in a video form exactly what it was is Bill Siementel, and he was doing it with like his little micro shad years ago. This might have been 10 years ago. I don't know. It was a long time ago. And I'm sure he adopted that from somebody else. I know Don Mormon also had a similar rig. You know, everybody kind of puts their own take on it and fishes it. And that's all I've done. I've just adopted it and use it for big baits. It's not a cure-all by any means. It can be very frustrating to fish from time to time because if there's any type of cover, now you have 2 baits that can potentially hang up and stuff. When you cast, it spreads out. You might have 10 feet in between where your 2 baits land. So trying to be very precise with the cast, it can get frustrating. Anyway, I get a lot of questions about it, so I'm just gonna go over the basics of it, kind of explain how things work, and just go from there, just so it's there on the channel, because I get a lot of questions about it. Just to save a little bit of time, I'm not going to show every single step of the process, like cutting out the strands of line and all this stuff, but you'll get the gist of it so that you know how to rig it and then you can fish it. So starting out, it's very simple. You just have 2 baits, 2 different weights. This is an 8/0 hook, heavier weight, 6/0 hook. That will make sense later on in the video. You also need 2 swivels. My preferred brand on this is the Spros. I believe these are size 6, maybe size 8. But you don't need huge swivels. You just got to make sure that they're the same size swivels. It's that simple. In this rig up, there's a lot of knots. It's not just tying one and you're good to go. So retying after you've been fishing some like heavy cover or something and you got some abrasion on your line, that's why this rig becomes a little bit frustrating at times. Now the simplest way is you can just take your line directly off your spool. You're going to need 2 lengths of line, and they're going to be different lengths of line. So I have 1 length right here, I have another length right here. Then I'm just going to tie 1 off. Alright, that's knot number 1. Now you want to keep in mind that you're going to need 2 different lengths, and you're going to want around 12 inches of space in between the 2 baits. I think that's doable right there. Now I got my little swivel, and now I'm going to tie, little bass just swam up right there, right next to the boat, checking me out. Now I'm just going to tie another knot on that swivel. Now you can use whatever knot you prefer. I do the double improved cinch clinch knot. I don't know, I've been tying it since I was a child, so I don't change it up. I don't even know the name of it anymore. That's just the first rig. We got 2 knots in. So you can already see this is going to take some serious time if you're on the water and you're rigging it. So now I'm going to tie my other bait on. And I'm actually trying to rush as fast as I can because I don't want the camera overheating again. Because then I'll just stop trying to make the video. Or probably not, but I like to sound tough saying that, but I'll probably keep making the video. I'll just start again. Okay, so now I have this one tied, but there's no swivel attached here yet. What I want to do is just kind of compare how much distance I have between the two. So I want a little bit more. Just eyeballing it, that's probably decent enough. I want as much separation as I can get between the two baits so that they don't constantly twist on each other, so that they're not riding right next to each other. I want separation. So this looks like a pretty decent amount right there. Just eyeballing, that's good enough. So now I'm just going to kind of trim off the extra, and now take that other swivel and I'm going to tie to it. Okay. Kind of a crappy knot. So here's the clincher. It's pretty simple once you get it, but it's the big deal. You take your main line, you take the bait that you're going to want to trail, be hanging further back, and you thread that through the eye of the swivel. You take that and we go through so that the swivel can slide up and down the main line. And then it's just as simple as tying the main line to the other bait. So, as we can see right here, now you have this bait tied to the main line, and then your trailing bait slides up and down the line. This swivel only just acts as a stop pretty much. Now, you can see the length difference there. Now the idea is, and see how it twists up? Oddly, when it's in the water, it doesn't do it that often. And I think that's because when I'm fishing this, I have the heavy one up front. You gotta keep in mind, they're gonna be retrieved at the exact same speed. So this heavier one is gonna bang the bottom much more aggressively than the trailing one. So it's gonna kind of stay up just a little bit. It's gonna skip higher. It's gonna do all that stuff than the front one just grinding the bottom. Now you can do the same thing with like rate of fall 5 HUDs and a rate of fall 12 HUD. I mean, go down the list. Just have 2 different baits, 2 different weights. I don't know what else I can really cover on it. Maybe we can come up with a better name for it than just the double rig. That's just a blanket name, doesn't give credit to any specific person. It's just a blanket name that sounds way cooler than double rig and way cooler than the donkey rig. I hear people calling it that sometimes, and that just, personally, it makes me kind of cringe. I'm like, ugh. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully that answered a lot of the questions. Like I said, it's not complicated, but if you've never seen it done or anything, yeah, I can get that. So for now, that's it. If you like what you watch, subscribe. Always appreciate that. Leave comments down there. I'll do my best to try and answer it. Also, special note is if you're constantly trying to chase the baits, make sure you're signed up for our email newsletter via our website, workingclass0.store or workingclass0.net. That way you can get on an email list and then you get notifications about when baits are dropping and all that other stuff. I get enough emails at this point every single day about baits that I cannot spend the time to sit there and answer every single one back. And that's not the best case scenario, but that's the reality. I've already been lacking super hard on the videos just because my time is consumed with so much other stuff that I have to prioritize things. And the email newsletter is the best way forward. We don't abuse it. We just hit you with the information when we actually have it. Hopefully moving forward, I'll have more to offer on the channel. I just need to think about it a bit more. Some more of the, theories in swim baiting, all that good stuff. Just going over quick setups on it. You can throw it on whatever you prefer. Light baits, right here. It's a 300 Tranx, 110 varial handle with my flat knobs. This is the Artex R2. Works great for it. Bigger bait, bigger setup. I think what would actually work really well, it's not, I just didn't happen to choose for it, but any of the Lowdown, the Workshop series, heavies, medium power, would work great for the 6-inch, 7-inch style baits. If you're gonna go up, just think about if you normally throw, let's say, a mag on a rod. You're gonna be throwing 2 mags. So it's just gonna be that much more power. Setting the hook is no different. It's still the same bait, but just presenting the baits, lobbing them out there, and wanting to make sure you get that same distance cast that you can when you have one of the baits tied on. You don't want to just be doing these little baby casts. No, you need to give it that full presentation. So, for real though, this time, I'm done. I'm out.